Actually, something very interesting has happened in Madagascar. They have a brand new president. This man right here is the newest president in Madagascar. He's just been instated as president. But he is a soldier. He's a colonel. How did he become president? Brother, there are so many lessons to learn about most of the things that we see. So many lessons. In fact, today, I want to talk about something very interesting. But I want us to learn from this, because there's great lessons to learn from this. Today, we're talking about Madagascar, okay? Madagascar, on a map. You see that it is. Madagascar is a very interesting place. Actually, something very interesting has happened in Madagascar. They have a brand new president. This man right here is the newest president in Madagascar. He's just been instated as president. But he is a soldier. He's a colonel. How did he become president? They overthrew the previous president. Madagascar has generals, okay? Generals are superior to colonels. Now the question is, how did the colonel become a president whilst they are generals? Something happened there. He saw an opportunity, an opening. Brother, today we're going to learn something together. But before we dive into this, thank you very much for stopping by. You are very much appreciated. My name is Zack. It's your first time, you're welcome. This is home. This is where we speak about the motherland in all spectrums of it. And trust me, by the end of this video, you will not go back empty-handed. Please click on the button, subscribe, so we can see each other every single day. Great, let's start. Madagascar is right here. I know some of you, maybe it's your first time, you think maybe you are American or you Caribbean, you thought Madagascar was a movie. It's not a movie, it's a real place. That's on the map, is Madagascar. Let's see some very interesting things about Madagascar. Madagascar is the fourth largest island in the world. Yes, it is an island, but it is the fourth largest island in the world. After Greenland, you see Greenland on the map, New Guinea and Borneo. Okay, it's a big place. Number two, Madagascar has a very interesting culture. They have a bare knuckle fighting culture. It's like MMA, but with bare knuckles. Yes, it's traditional. So Malagasy people, that's how they're called, get trained and they learn how to fight because it's part of the tradition. It's part of manhood, okay, masculinity. You know how to defend yourself. And I firmly believe that a man should know how to defend himself, because if you know how to defend yourself, you can defend your family, your wife, your children. I mean, it's just sad that a man that's found himself unable to defend the family whilst he's in trouble. I'm sorry, I know I'm just one of those guys. I will give my life up to save my mother. I will give my life up to save my wife. Now, the thing is, you don't know if the wife will give her life up. Anyway, for my children, I'll do the same. So that's a very interesting culture in Madagascar. The third thing about Madagascar, which is very particular, not necessarily good though. In Madagascar, in some areas, they don't like twins. Okay, twin babies are not welcome, okay? It's in an area named Maranjari where they believe twins bring misfortune, okay? And it's very sad. This community don't like twins. And in the past, twins often were abandoned, sometimes killed shortly after birth. You know, you can just imagine the stress once the parent found out that they're going to have twins, you know, because of the culture. They believe it was spiritual imbalance.
De ary zareo moa zany rafozako mbany zeny valilay koa zany de nandeha tagny de nandrika nandeha tagny zany zareo de le fomba fiarabany zany a de fiarabana mirary zamadinika toa mofaty zany le tenina tany tamina.
That's very sad, and I just hope that that doesn't happen anymore right now. But something interesting happened in Madagascar, so let's dive into this. This is the brand new president of Madagascar. His name is Colonel Michael Randrianirina. Okay, you're gonna excuse me there, I know I murdered his name. He was sworn president of Madagascar just days after the military takeover of the country.
The former regime who put us in this darkness used violence against protesters. Many young protesters have been arrested because they wanted to have their voices heard. And to keep order of the nation, the military had to take responsibility for the good of the people.
What happened? Why did they take over the country? The previous president, this man right here, ran the country, and people were not happy with the way the country was run. So Gen Z, the young people, came down the street very angry because there was no electricity for everybody, not enough electricity, a lot of load shedding. So sometimes you get electricity for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. It's not a good thing. You can still find those things in many African countries, unfortunately. So they were not happy about that. Number two, water shortage. There was not enough water for everybody. Why? Because of corruption. There's a company that runs the waters and the electricity. Now, this specific company does corruption. How does it do corruption? They prioritize the rich people, the politicians. So the politicians and the rich people get electricity and water and service, whilst the rest of the population is in the darkness and dryness. Now, the people went to the street very angry, saying that the president is not doing anything. He's been in power for long enough, but they're not seeing any change. Now, something interesting happened. When they went to the street for a long time, these are students and young people, somebody in government gave an order for the army to go and shoot them down. These things happened a lot when they ask soldiers to go and shoot civilians in many African countries, unfortunately, and the soldiers will do it. It happened in Kenya, okay? Yes, Gen Z went to the street asking for the right, and they shot some of them. So what they do is they will shoot 2 or 3 people and hoping to scare everybody else so mayhem stops. Sometimes mayhem is necessary for change. Now, in Madagascar, when they ask the soldiers to shoot the people, the soldiers refuse to shoot the people. And when it was that way, the military force joined the people, for that fight, looking to change regimes. Okay, so the lessons we're going to learn here are very interesting, fellas. Okay, number 1, this man is a colonel, Mr. Michael Ranina. Sorry, I murdered his name again. He's a colonel. He became president, even though above him are several generals. What does that mean, fellas? It means one thing. In life, you must never wait for somebody to give you authorization if you want to do something. If you want to be great, my brother, please listen to me. If you want to do great things in life, don't wait for people to tell you you can do it now or you are authorized now. The bottom line is this one. Sometimes in life, we are criticized by people, okay, for some actions that we do. People criticize us. They talk negatively about us. But we still want to fix that, hoping that maybe I'm doing things wrong. If I do things right, they will push me forward. If I do things right, they will support me. Let me tell you something. If somebody criticizes you on the negative things, in most cases, they will criticize you even in good things. If somebody criticizes you with bad intention in negative things, 99% of the people that criticize you trying to bring you down because you did something wrong will always also criticize you even when you do good things. In matter of fact is what? When you're trying to do good things in life, okay? You're building for the community, you're creating hospitals, private, cheap price for the people that have no money. You're serving food to the poor generations of people. They're going to stay quiet. They won't clap their hand for you. They'll wait for you to fall into another difficult situation, such as scandal, okay? Even rumors saying that, he stole money. Then they're going to come out and say, yes, you see, I told you about that man. You were clapping for him saying he's distributing food for free to the orphans. I told you were clapping for this man who was giving money and built hospitals for the poor people. Because I saw him. I saw him in the beginning. Do you think when I criticized him first, I was stupid? No. That's how it is. So do not wait for somebody to give you an opportunity to move forward. There is a president in the Democratic Republic of Congo, Kabila, okay? He became president, I believe, in 28 years old. How? Because his father was the president. He was shot. After his father was shot, he was presented with the door, an opportunity to become president. He had no fear. He waited for nobody to say, you can be president. He stepped forward. He said, I'm going to be president. Was he a great president? Well, not necessarily. A lot of people don't think he was a good president at all. But will he forever be remembered as a president because he made that choice at 28, I believe, to be a president whilst there were people that were his mentors were present. People with more knowledge were present. Forever, people will remember him as a president of a country. Do not wait for somebody to give you an opportunity. So this is one of the lessons we learn here from Colonel Michael Randranirajina. Sorry, I murdered his name again. Number 2, which I think is a great lesson we need to learn about. Now, he saw this opportunity from what? From the student. Okay, so the student first went to the street. Okay, they went to the street fighting for the right. They went to the streets claiming government was not servicing them appropriately. So he used the students' fight to win. He used other people's work because had he come out himself as a challenger, it would be shut down. He used other people's fight, other people's tools, other people's resources to establish himself. My brother, you know how to do that. Don't sit backwards hoping that life is going to be given. Listen, the world to the nicest people, it's never nice. If you're going to be a nice guy, you're going to lose. Nice guys always lose. You're going to have an okay life with good morality and stuff. And I'm not saying you must breach your morals. I'm saying to you, sometimes you must use other people's work for you to shine. That's how life is. You're not going to change it. Now, there's another thing that's very interesting that you need to learn as well. This man was jailed in the past. He was in jail. This man, the president, was in jail before. Why was he in jail? He was in maximum security prison without a trial in November 2023 because he was accused of inciting mutiny and planning a coup. Okay, so his intentions are not brand new. So it's not necessarily because the Gen Zs went to the street that he seized the opportunity to become president, because he already had these ideas in the past. Now, what lesson do you learn here? As a president, the former president, the lesson is this one: an enemy today is an enemy forever in most cases. Be very careful. If somebody is your enemy today, he's most likely going to be an enemy again. He's going to come looking for peace. And if you lower your guard, my brother, I'm telling you, you're going to be surprised. Look, geopolitics will teach you many lessons about life. If you open your eyes and your ears, if you choose to be open-minded, you'll see it. This man was jailed in the past in 2023. Why? Because he was trying to do a coup. Why was he released? Why would you as a president release him? Okay, now he sees another opportunity. He chose this best opportunity to sit in power. Number 3, he was a vocal critic of Rajoelina. Okay, Rajoelina is this president, the previous president. This man, the current president, was a critic of Rajoelina back in time. So again, like I said, if you know somebody that clearly has intentions to sit at your seat, why do you give him an opportunity? Why do you let him breathe? I'm just saying. Nothing against the current president. I want to go visit Madagascar. I don't want to be stopped at the immigration and say, you spoke about the president. I'm just telling you the truth. These are lessons of life. There's nothing new on earth, my brother. There's nothing. Number 1, seize an opportunity. When it opens for you, enter. When the door is open, don't wait for the next person to give you an authorization. Don't wait for people to agree with you before you do what you have to do. I don't know what this means for you. It could be business, could be a project or construction or anything. Don't wait. A travel plan. Don't wait for people to agree with you. Don't wait for consent. It will never come. Number 2, don't wait for appreciation from people. Okay? People who criticize you today, they will criticize you forever. Doesn't matter what you do. Okay? Number 3, watch your enemies. Enemy once, enemy forever. They will wait for the right opportunity to slash your throat. Be careful. Let me know how you feel about this. I think it's very interesting. He's been instated as a president. The country has been kicked out of the African Union. They are suspended. But that is irrelevant right now because the guy is going to be president. And even when time goes, even if there's another president, he will forever be remembered as a president. And number 2, he will forever benefit from the good things that former presidents get in Madagascar. The final question is this one. Is this man going to bring the change that Madagascar needs? Is he going to finally bring the things that they were claiming the previous president was not doing? That is another story. Now, we are in Kenya. Here's Kenya on the map. Beautiful place, lovely people. If you've never been to Kenya, it's one of the countries I would suggest you do, especially if you are from the diaspora. It really doesn't matter whether you're African or American, Caribbean. Kenya is a beautiful place to visit. You know, you're gonna love it. The outdoors, the nightclubs. If you are into that life, you love it. The restaurants, the people, the women. Just make sure you got money. You better have money in Kenya. Yeah, you better have money. You want full Kenyans, trust me. But you're gonna find your people, no doubt about that. I see a lot of African Americans moving to Kenya, though. A lot of them. Now, unfortunately, there was a situation where I saw some Kenyans complaining about some African Americans. I think they call themselves the passport bros or something. I believe one tried to do some funny thing with a Kenyan girl, trying to film himself while doing funny thing with a Kenyan girl. Okay, Kenyans are wild. Okay, you're welcome to Kenya, but don't be funny with Kenyans. They're very smart. Okay. Anyway, this is not a representation of African Americans in Kenya. Those are just low life people doing negative things with people. Let's get back on track. So why are we talking about Kenya right now? There's a deadly clash in Kenya. Deadly clashes erupt at politician's funeral service in Kenya. Raila Odinga passed away a couple of days ago, and as they were celebrating his life, a deadly clash erupted. Security forces in Nairobi used live rounds to shoot on people. Okay, and reports say up to 4 people were unalive by the shooting and many people were injured. This is crazy. So you went to celebrate somebody's life, somebody that was preeminent in the country. Raila Odinga was a dominant figure in Kenya's opposition for about 40 years. This man, for 40 years, he fought for the freedom of the people. 40 years trying to get into power, but he was not successful. He even lost the election in 2022 against William Ruto. Very small margin. And as people want to celebrate Raila Odinga, they started creating mayhem. Apparently, the people pushed into the door, the gate where the body was put. So let's explain very easily. Okay, you have the body of Odinga, right there is a gate in front of it. Now, his mourners and supporters break through the gate and they gap to. Like, I don't understand why people have no discipline. I don't understand why people have no discipline, no respect. Like, I don't get it. Like, you need to have some level of self-discipline. Like, what did your father teach you as a child? You're going to a place where they're mourning somebody's life, they're celebrating his existence, and they're paying respect, and you pushing forward toward the body. For what? Why do you do that? Well, they were shot, unfortunately, with live ammunition. They were trying to disperse them. That was combined with tear gas. Okay, so live ammunition, that's also a bit rough. I don't know. What do you think? Live ammunition on people, why didn't they use, other calibers? Well, maybe they didn't have that. Maybe they didn't plan for people to do mayhem. Like, how often do you go to a funeral expecting havoc to be created? It's only in black communities that you see things like this. My brother, black people are not disciplined. And I know you get triggered when I say that. And like when I call African people shithole countries, people get triggered. Yeah, you must respect other people's country. Your country is shithole, my friend. You can be all angry you want. Your country is a shithole country. Okay? If your politicians and generals can drive up the road in a way that is a one-way, it's a shithole country. If in your country you can see generals and colonels in the street, it's a shithole country. Like, how do you see a general driving in the street? It is a shithole country. If in your country they prioritize people in a queue based on what they do as jobs or what representation they have in society, it's a shithole country. If in your country you can get somebody arrested just because you have connection with the politician and the soldiers, it's a shithole country. So don't come here and tell me no, don't call other people's country. If your country has got a president that's been there for over 40 years, it's a shithole country. You know what I'm saying? So we should be able to tell each other the truth. This is not limited to Kenya. It's a lack of discipline. As much as they could have shot with, fake bullets, it's a lack of discipline on our people. Like, how do you expect a policeman to behave? Okay? While there's like thousands of people running toward him, how is he going to protect himself? He has to protect himself in some ways. It's either he's unalive or you are unalive. Now, if you have a chance between you being alive and the other person, who's going to stay alive? You're going to choose you all the time, right? This is not new. Look at this country right here. Look at these people. This is DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo. This is the map of the country. This is Kinshasa. Okay, just keep in mind that every country you hear with the name of democratic before it's not democratic. Now, this is a scene where apparently there was a break-in in the bank. Okay, they were trying to rob a bank. And as they were trying to rob a bank, a special unit of police or special force came to try to negotiate, then break into the bank. Now, look at the amount of people you're seeing around this. This is a scene where they're going to be shooting. There are assailants in the bank, okay? And the guards are getting ready to enter so they can create havoc with live bullets. And look at the people. Why weren't these people dispersed? I'm just asking. Why would you do such an operation in front of so many people? What if bullets go? Like, our level of stupid you need to be. Like, I don't get that. It's like watching a movie of Commando, like live. This is insane. This is insane. What happened next? They went inside, and apparently the person that was held down the bank was a female. One of the main leaders was a female. That apparently came from Germany, needed some money. I don't know if she's 100% right in her head, and went to a bank with a fake gun. Okay, obviously later on we saw images of the female. They removed her clothes. I don't know why. Don't put that stuff. Okay, please cover it. Please don't show people that nakedness. I don't know why they kept her naked. I mean, arresting somebody for doing a criminal activity is 100% right. Taking her to justice is justified, but removing her clothes in public, what is that for? What is that for? Like, there are certain things you don't do. This is a black community thing. I mean, look at this place. This is South Africa. Look at this image. This is South Africa at the mall. It's Durban. Okay? What's happened in this situation was Jacob Zuma, a prominent political figure, ex-president of South Africa, was being sent to jail for whatever criminal activity he was condemned of. Okay? For taking money from the government, I believe, and taking some contract that were not legal. He was being sent to jail. Now, the people in KwaZulu-Natal or Durban, mostly Zulu people, were not happy with the fact that they were sending their leader to jail. Guess what they did? They boycotted the day. They walked in the street. They started a march, which started very peasant, very greatly peaceful march. Then later on, it escalated very quickly. What happened next? Next thing, they ran into the malls. They went into shopping centers trying to loot and steal. How do you explain the fact that you went to the street to try to justify the fact that Mr. Zuma should remain free as translated to you being in a shopping center trying to steal from ShopRite and Pick and Pay. I don't get that. How did you get from this, Zuma cannot go to jail, to you stealing refrigerators from a white serviceman? I don't understand that. It's the lack of discipline. It's the very low morality. And guess what some of these people did? I mean, these white people in Africa have dealt with black people so much that they know how they operate. Now, in this mall, what they did was the owners spilled purposely oil on the floor. They spilled oil all over the floor, knowing that when these looters and stealers and criminals will come, they will slide and fall on the ground. They will slip. And that's exactly what happened. Isn't that magical? Lack of discipline, lack of structure. You can't be living like animals. It's very sad. There's another image. I don't know which country that is. I think this is DRC too. Okay, there was an accident. Okay, a car that sells bread, I think delivers bread to shops that sells bread, had an accident. The driver was unconscious while the car is burning in front. Instead of saving the driver, people ran trying to steal bread. I don't understand that. What level of anger do you have? Or brainlessness? And then if somebody from a different race was saying this, you would call him what? No. If an Indian, a Chinese, or a white American was making a video like this, what would you call him? Okay. I don't understand that. Well, peace be with him. For the fight he's fought for the people of Kenya. May the ancestors remind him and hold him tight. Now we're moving to Namibia. This is Namibia, fellas. Beautiful place, lovely people. Namibia has signed a great deal with Russia. They're going to be working together. Congratulations to Namibia. Piga makofi. Yeah, piga makofi means clap your hand in Swahili. Swahili is the most spoken language in Africa. Beautiful language. You speak Swahili in Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, eastern part of the Congo. So just imagine, people from different countries can just meet each other and start talking in Swahili. I mean, the reason why you can understand me is because I'm speaking English. And that's influenced by the English presence in colonies. As much as it is bad, that's the reason why we can understand each other. Now, people in East Africa don't need English. They can speak Swahili to one another. Okay. Now, in Namibia, something very interesting is happening. Namibia is signed a partnership deal on nuclear energy with Russia. Namibia has a brand new president, this lady right here. Beautiful lady, very strong. Mama Nandi, amazing. In Africa, generally, somebody else's mother, you don't call them by the name, you call them mama, out of respect. I know kids from nowadays want to change things around, saying auntie. Actually, we never had aunties, it was mama. I remember as a child, secondary school, I went to one of my friends' house and I ate. They gave me food, I ate. When I finished eating, I said to his mom, "Thank you, auntie." Okay, she was, "No, I'm not your auntie, I'm your mother." She corrected me right away. I'm not your auntie, I'm your mother. It was with warmth and love. I will never forget. That's Patrick Mwekassa, his mother. She told me, "I'm not your auntie, I'm your mother." That was beautiful. Lovely lady. She spread them. Anyway, let's get back on track. So Namibia has done some great things. Let's see some interesting fact about Namibia. It's a beautiful place. It's got the world's oldest desert. Okay, desert, world oldest. I think in Namibia you actually find the desert coming together with the sea. It's a beautiful place where the desert meet the sea, and animals have adapted to that environment. Such a beautiful place. Namibia is also the second least populous country in the world. Okay, it has the least people in the world. They have about 2.5 million human beings who live in peace. They're happy with one another. Namibia was one of the most stable democracies in Africa. Okay. Yeah, no soldiers driving trucks in the street, driving bad, and as soon as you ask him to drive correctly, he beat you up like this in Nigeria. Things like this you can only see in countries like Nigeria, Congo, and all the you don't see none of that in Namibia. There's respect, okay? Nobody cares who's chief, who's boss. I mean, you look at the countries where people like to call each other chief, boss. Mayhem, havoc, no respect. Have you ever seen white people call each other chief, boss? No, they don't do that. If they call you boss, it's because you're their boss, for real. In Africa, people call you boss either because they fear you or because they expect you to give them money. It's never genuine. Chief is because they fear you because of your social status or because they expect you to give them money directly. Well, white people don't do that, and other people, I'm sorry. Is it bad? Well, you see, the majority of countries where people call each other chief, boss, and all that stuff, it's mayhem, it's havoc. They will throw you in jail because you looked at a girl that the general is interested in. Just looking at her ass. Yes, and yush. Anyway, in Namibia, you don't find that. Namibia is also very interesting because Namibia is a country where you find in politics there's a young Congolese lady that is a minister of health. Congratulations. Namibia is right here. Look at the map. DRC is here, very far away. This lady in the name of Dr. Esperance Luvindao was born in Windhoek. She was born in Namibia in 1994. She proudly embraced Congolese heritage because her parents are originally from the Congo, but she considers herself as Namibian. Okay, she also speaks fluently Lingala, which is a very spoken language in the Congo, both Congos, and French. But she's very much Namibian. She went to school to Namibia. She developed in Namibia. She went to university in Namibia. She first worked in parliament, then became a minister of health in Namibia. Brother, that's very inspiring. Why is that inspiring? Because no African country lack foreigners like that. I know Africans are very fast when they want to talk negatively about white people. Yeah, white people have colonized us. White people have done this, that. How do you treat each other? That's the question. How do Africans treat one another? That's the problem. My brother, you will never be a prominent person in politics in most African countries if they cannot track your ancestry. Africans are some of the most xenophobic people in the world. I'm going to be honest with you. I know people say, South Africans are xenophobic. Yes, are they xenophobic? Yes, they are xenophobic. A lot of South Africans are xenophobic. Is everybody xenophobic? No. But there are lots of them like xenophobic? Absolutely. Would somebody from Congo or Namibia be minister in South Africa? I'm not sure about that. Can somebody from Namibia be minister in the Congo? Well, I doubt that very much. I don't think it's possible. They will remind her every day, this is not your country. You must go back to your country. In the meantime, America was built with Irish people, German people, French people, Dutch people. They don't see color and origins. It's that selfishness. I must eat by myself. They must serve us first. So you guys think in Namibia there are no Namibian born whose ancestry is Namibia that could use that slot as a minister of health and be the minister of health? You think in Namibia there's no other people that went to school like this lady Esperance Luvindao, okay, that's Namibian in ancestry that could assume this role? Do you think Namibians are crazy and stupid for allowing her to use that slot and be minister? No, it creates something beyond what you like. It creates something you cannot understand. Let me know how you feel about this, fellas. It was a great pleasure. Congratulations to Namibia signing a great deal with Russia. It's amazing. You know, the president reminds people that the Soviet Union was present when Namibia was looking for freedom against the South African apartheid era. Yes, Namibia was colonized also a little bit like by South Africa. You know, the white people of South Africa colonized South Africa. They also colonized Namibia. So Namibia needed freedom and the Soviet Union helped them a great deal. Be here. This is Kenya. Lovely country, beautiful place. Lovely place to be. If you've never been, I suggest you go have a look. Very interesting. But what's happening with the Kenyans right now, it's very, very intricate. And I think we need to dive into it so we can understand. The government of Kilifi County has officially suspended the Krishna Foundation school feeding. Why? Because the Krishna Foundation, which is clearly Indians, has been asking for African children to recite prayers to Krishna before receiving food. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Now, there are many questions to be asked. Do they have the rights to do that? Well, if the foundation is about Krishna, I think they would probably try slipping something Krishna in there. No doubt about that. Well, first we need to understand, how are the Indians in Kenya? How did the Indians arrive in Kenya? Well, Indians in Kenya, Indians live in Kenya. There are many Indian Kenyans or Kenyan Indians if you prefer. How did they get there? Well, many years ago, when white people came to Africa to colonize, the British took many countries, including Kenya, Uganda, South Africa, and many other countries. Now, in Kenya, something very interesting was happening at the time. They needed to build the railroad coming from here, Mombasa, all the way to Kampala. Kampala is in Uganda. Mombasa is at the coast of Kenya. Well, why did they need the railroad? Clearly because they wanted to loot and steal the continent. You know, you need a way to bring the things out as fast as possible. Now, they brought the Indians to come and build the railroad. And your question is, why wouldn't they use the Africans to build the railroad? That's a good question. Did they think Africans were stupid? Maybe not good enough. They went to find Indians to come and build the railroad. It was very difficult. At some point, there was lions, the Tsavo lions that ate a lot of people. I mean, you're going into the jungle, you're trying to build a railroad, you're going to find things. Anyway, fast forward. When colonialism ended, many Indians returned, some didn't. Some stayed in both Uganda and Kenya, created their own communities. Now, Indians are very prominent in these countries, both Uganda and Kenya. I believe in Uganda, they have a tribe called Bahindi, or the other way around, not sure. But they're very influential, sit in power. They have very big businesses where Kenyans and Ugandans work for them. Now, the particularity here is very simple. The Indians rarely mix and mingle with black people in both these countries. Not very much. They have their own communities, their own gatherings, their own parties, their own everything. Okay? You will rarely see an Indian person marry a black person. Rarely. It may happen here and there, but it's not common. Even though they all call themselves Kenyan. We focus on Kenya right here. Now, there's a school, many schools, about 17 schools were relying on opportunities because they were going through a very difficult time. The schools involved in Krishna Foundation feeding program were located in Ganze sub-county, in Kilifi County, a region known to be drought-stricken and economically disadvantaged. So we're talking about poor people here. Okay, the feeding initiative was specially aimed at supporting vulnerable children in 17 schools.
As parents, we were called. They went to explain the rules for this food. While they were explaining it to us, they told us that there was a prayer that had to be said. But we, the parents, refused because we didn't know the meaning of this prayer.
Now, this is what it is, fellas. If you don't look after your house, somebody's going to do it for you. And you might not like what they do, what they suggest your household people to do before they get the help. Let me repeat myself. If you don't make sure your house is good in terms of finances or any other thing, somebody else will do it on your behalf. Unfortunately, because human needs things. Now, these are very poor schools, very poor region, very poor situations. And somebody comes and says, I'm going to give you food. Look, not every African school get food before they get... No. These boys in some places barely have 2 meals a day, let alone one. Now you're going to school, you can find food, they just ask you to say a bunch of words. Who's going to say no? Do you think those children are within the age frame of saying no? Look, Krishna or any other religion is not the problem. The problem is consent. Why do you make them say things they didn't consent to? Did they say, yes, we want to do this? Or are the parents involved because these children clearly, don't know what to say? That's why they're at school, because they don't know what they want in life. Did they consent to that? You know what I'm saying? Now, that is perhaps religion. What else comes with religion? Well, there's many things. So before you don't get the food, they have to do a prayer. Listen to this teacher telling them what to say.
The Krishna prayer that I explained to you, that's what we're going to do here. But the teacher will translate it into English. This is also here. Let's start with the prayer. We start with the prayer and then we eat.
The teacher's basically saying to them, don't worry, it's just a bunch of words, eat. But it's not just that. Because it was just a bunch of words, the government of Kenya wouldn't stop that. That is a level of abuse to it. That's abuse. That's taking advantage of somebody's poverty and difficulties. It's like you see somebody in the street, female, I think I saw that myself, a female begging in the street and people soliciting her to go do things because she's begging. Like, I can pay you more money if you do other things, which is not something everybody will talk about. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. Asking, well, why do they have to say your prayer before? I mean, you said you just want to help. Now, why you want to make them say your prayer? Now, on the other side, because I don't just go one way, you know me, I always batter both sides so we can understand. Why do you have children that are poor in a rich country such as Kenya? Why isn't there funds and possibility allocated so such thing? Because this is shameful. It is shameful that a bunch of kids in Africa need to do prayers that they've never heard about so they can get some bread.
So, I'm instructing the Ministry of Education to sit down with the Ministry of Finance. When I try to ask them what is the issue, they told me that because our financial year is June to June, and the education here is January to December, there is a bit of a disconnect. So we need to align.
It's very saddening. Well, in the meantime, the government of Kenya just allocated $179,000 monthly. They're paying to a dude somewhere in America to lobby for Kenya. What does lobby mean? It's basically speaking nicely to Donald Trump about Kenya so that Trump, look at Kenya with good lens. That's it. $179,000 a month. One person has received, one company. In the meantime, there are many Kenyan doctors that have no adequate salaries. In the meantime, there are many people in Kenya that are striking for a piece of bread. In the meantime, many people of Kenya need to go to Saudi Arabia. Okay, look at Kenya, look at Saudi Arabia. You have to traverse all the way to Saudi Arabia to get a piece of bread. That is shameful. And Kenya has done negotiation with Saudi Arabia. So what these people go do in Saudi Arabia? It's basically women that go work as maid. Imagine. African women leaving the African nest, traveling all the way, sometimes illegally to Saudi Arabia, sometimes abusively to Saudi Arabia so they can get a job as a maid. So cleaning and washing and you know what I'm saying? The whole day for 18 hours sometimes. Sometimes they are sexually abused by the boss and some of them are married. But the Kenyan people had time to negotiate with Saudi Arabia on what's the minimal amount they need to pay these people. It's crazy. Imagine that money they give the American to lobby for. Just take a little bit. How about just $500? I'm sure $500 will feed these kids. You don't think $500 in Africa will feed a school of kids? It will definitely feed this. Why do you fund your... I don't know. This is sad. Let me know how you feel about this. Unfortunately, racism between Indians and Kenyans. I mean, some Indians are Kenyans, but racism between Indians and black people in Kenya is prominent. It's a reality. We even heard of stories where there are apartment blocks that are exclusively Indians. There are things that are exclusively Indians. I mean, in Kenya. Why? Because you're not good enough. And also because your government doesn't necessarily support you. You know, I'll tell you something before I close. Many Africans, when they go to embassies looking for visas to Europe or America, they don't necessarily speak to a European or an American. On the other hand, usually the interviewer in many cases is actually an African. Yeah. So the African's job is to scrutinize you, make sure you don't lie, because they know all your tricks. If there are tricks, they will ask you questions. How come this is not here? Where is your bank account? Where do you work? Where is your fingerprint? They will make it very difficult for you. Africans at the embassy will make it more difficult than Americans, more difficult than white Europeans. I've faced that myself, where an African made it difficult for me until the ambassador came and said, listen, I'm waiting for you, for this guy. Are you still interviewing him? Can I see his passport? I gave him the passport. He looked at the passport. He saw 37 visas. He said, but this guy is a bona fide. He's been here many times. Why are you wasting my time? I need to go. It's the weekend. Give him his visa. Now, what you will find is what? When a black man works for a foreign person, it becomes harder and more difficult to the other black man than the foreign person. God bless.